my antidote speech, I'm going to talk about a lesson that I learned in social work very early on in my career. When I worked for the Army as a case manager, I had a brigade-size component deployed, essentially. There was several hundred soldiers gone. And it was my job to stay in contact with their families while they were gone and make sure that their needs were being met and they didn't have any issues. When I got a call from a wife saying that her husband hadn't been sending any money home, that she couldn't afford to feed her kids, her house was being foreclosed on, that she couldn't afford to get to work, that she had no gas and her car was falling apart, that she wanted to know what sort of financial assistance was available for her because her husband wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. In my naiveness, I decided that I should call everybody I could think to call to get this soldier in trouble. I wanted to know who he was and where he was and what his commander's name was. I got my boss involved. I got everybody on this side of the world involved that I could, and I got his command in Afghanistan involved. They pulled the soldier out of the field. They yelled at him and gave him a hard time and asked him why he wasn't taking care of his family. He ended up calling me directly so that we could talk about it from Afghanistan and let me know that not only was he taking care of them, but he was sending his entire paycheck to her every single month. After a little bit of digging and calling around and finding out what was going on, turned out that she was taking his $4,000 a month and not taking care of the kids, and she was doing meth instead and using it for drugs and alcohol and to party. I ended up bringing the kids in and asking them what was going on, and they told me the true story of their mom doing drugs. The soldier ended up coming home from Afghanistan so that he could take care of his kids, and the wife ended up being put in jail and losing her children, and the soldier ended up getting full custody, and they continued to struggle because he had really counted on that deployment and the money to pay themselves out of debt. So while my intentions were good and that I wanted to take care of this family, my mistake came in that I was rushed to judgment. I took her word on it. I immediately assumed that he was some big bad guy that wasn't taking care of his family. And it ended up kind of blowing up in my face and made me look like the bad guy for not doing the research. Ultimately, it was good because the kids were out of that situation and the soldier was home. But it really taught me that I need to slow down and get all the facts before I accuse anybody of anything or assume that somebody isn't doing what they're supposed to do. And that has served me well in social work since then.